Placement of speakers is not actually a simple sort of topic. It's something that I would typically talk to people that I'm instructing for probably 2 to 3 hours to go through all of the different aspects of why you would put a speaker in a certain position and why you potentially would move it to a different position. So we'll simplify some of this down and hopefully look at things that people don't necessarily consider all the time. So obviously we've got however many speakers are in the room, and typically most of the cinemas might have 5 speakers in the horizontal plane, or 7 speakers, or if they've got front wides in the room, they might have 9 speakers, or there are a lot of different configurations that are all possible within the cinema room, and often people are chasing the largest number rather than necessarily what we're after in the industry, which is a really good coverage of the seating area and having consistency of sound no matter where I am in the room. So if I'm going to have, in this room we've got 2 rows of seats, so if I had a speaker with a very narrow dispersion, one speaker on the sidewall probably wouldn't give a very good outcome for getting good coverage across the seats. So with a narrow dispersion speaker, I would probably want to have 2 speakers on the sidewall to get a better coverage across the seats and more consistency and a better connection between the front and the rear of the cinema room as the sound's panned from down the side wall. So if I had a wider horizontal dispersion on the speaker, like I do in this cinema room, then I potentially could get away with 1 speaker on the sidewall and still getting that even coverage. So there is no one answer in terms of, do I use 1 speaker in that position or do I use 2 speakers in that position? Well, it depends a lot on what speaker I selected. Or if I looked at what the problem was and sort of said, I want even coverage across those seats, I'm going to put 2 speakers there instead of 1 speaker. Well, can the client afford 2 speakers? Or is it actually more economical to select a more appropriate speaker that then actually meets the budget because I'm not doubling up on what I need to use? Other aspects to consider would be where you put the speaker in the room is not just a case of following a diagram for angles. It's where you put a speaker in the room will dictate its bass response and how it measures in terms of its frequency response at the seat. So shifting the speaker 100 mil, 200 millimeters can actually affect or improve the frequency response at the seating positions. So if I move a speaker and in doing so cancel out a standing wave in the room at a specific frequency, that's something that's free. I don't need to pay for it, but it dramatically improves the frequency response for that speaker throughout the room. So that's another reason why I might move a particular speaker. Another reason why I would move a speaker would be what's termed shadowing. So for instance, for the sidewalls within RP22, you can have a side speaker that's anywhere from sort of 70 degrees, so actually slightly in front of the seating position, all the way through to about 120 degrees. And all of that is considered appropriate in terms of RP22 with where a side surround speaker could exist in the room. Now, by default, a lot of people are putting the speakers right in line with the seating positions, but the problem with that is if I've got somebody sitting on an outside seat and you've got a speaker sitting right near you on the side wall, can that person on the other side of the room see that speaker? If they can't see the speaker, then they're not hearing direct sound from the speaker, and then you're getting what's called shadowing, which means the audio is being shadowed by the person or the object that's covering the speaker, and what they're then hearing is actually the sort of the reverb of the speaker, so the sound bouncing around the room, hitting lots of different surfaces and then hitting your ear with time delays and a multitude of different signals hitting your ear. Which are going to mean that the speaker is not clear. You don't get, obviously, voices typically from surround speakers, but if I was saying voices from a centre channel, I wouldn't put something in front of the centre channel because that would mask the centre channel, it would make the voices hard to understand. So for surround channels, it's not affecting voices. So often people are putting these speakers into these locations, not quite realizing the effect that they're having because they're not getting voices coming from that speaker. But if they were having voices coming from the speaker, they would immediately move it because they could clearly hear the difference that it was making. The answer is not simple. The answer is, yes, there are defined standards for where a speaker should sit and the angles, and in particular for something like a front wide, it's actually a very specific way of calculating where that front wide should exist in the room. So there are definitely standards with regards to that, but the variables are frequency response, and the other variable is even coverage across the seats, and not having shadowing of the audio in any way.